Hey, bring in your business here, buddy. People can't hear you. Now, you know what? I think I have problems with my sound. It feels like maybe something's stealing my sound. That's what Boomer Jam thinks. I think Boomer Jam is like getting some other app is stealing my sound, and so I don't sound big enough. Well, if I shout, it goes into the red. Otherwise, I don't know. Wait, if you guys have any thoughts, maybe you think I sound okay. I don't know. I did a video recently and I was like, Bows, why are you sounding so soft? Why are you sounding so soft, Bows? Okay, so here we go. We got 10. We did 10 yesterday. The theory is that people are pumped up about Dojo 2.0 and are graduating themselves. And I'm kind of hoping that we don't get this many graduates on a consistent basis. That's kind of a weird hope. But I think a lot of these people are just updating. That's my guess. I'm not even sure. We're kind of see. I thought it would have, smoothed out already, but we're just getting a lot, man. We're just getting a lot, which is good. So here we're getting into it. Let's go. We got a bunch of... Now, these are some strong players. By the way, I came up with this metaphor yesterday. Probably no one likes. But, if you imagine like one of those resistance bands, basically like a big rubber band, you start pulling it. It's easier, but then the higher you go, the harder it gets, obviously. And that's what I feel like going up in the cohorts. You're just getting more and more competitive as you go up. So here we go. Let's go look at, I think I'll start actually in the 12 to 13 cohort, see if I can find these people. Let's go over here, pop. Let's go here, pop. And we'll go here, and we'll go. It always starts at my cohort. We're going to start here. All right, so can I find, this is all organized by Dojo Score. The lower down, the more shame you got. There's Joao Duarte. And chess.com, right? Activity. So, dude did quite a bit to get into the 12 to 13. And so we're hoping to find some game analysis. When I click endgame here, what do we got? Some settlement in the algorithm. Okay, great. And so then already in 12 to 13, dude's done a lot of endgames. All right, so let's see if we can find one of Yao's games. Pop. There we go, we got one. 84 moves. Beautiful. And then Yao did this. I'm probably saying that name wrong. And dude is black. So, okay. Yeah, kind of an interesting take. There's nothing wrong with this. However, it is definitely weird to play knight c6. And dude gives this endgame variation. I've played this as white. Yeah, this kind of interesting position. White can do a number of different moves here. In any case, the problem with this knight c6, well, there's a couple of problems, Boss, is that now, maybe you could play this way, honestly. You need to achieve e5 now when you play knight c6, right? You need to achieve it. Now, this doesn't seem right to me. Why? Because they told me when I was a little kid, boss, they said, don't move your developed pieces twice. And that's definitely ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So, let's just say something obvious. From the level of 1,000 up, one of the things that I've noticed is that the primary struggle, if you want to call it that, is that people don't respect time, right? A3, bishop b5, moving the developed piece twice. And so, yes, they will often hang stuff, but not like the under 1,000 cohort. What they will hang is tempi. They will give you tempi. And a good way to quantify it is to say that 3 tempi equal a pawn, right? So basically, you start off a third of a pawn down, right, when you begin the game. And dude here has already given black 2 tempi. Now, it should also be said that this move, dc4, also gave a tempo because you're making a pawn move and dude is making a developing move. Very important to see. Okay, so we get this position, a3, and black could do a couple different things. Let's see. Good move, can't be wrong. Let's say this is okay. Okay, and now we're going to need to do something mildly clever. No, you don't have to do anything clever. You don't have to do anything clever. No. So, you're suffering from the same problem as your opponent. So imagine it's white's move here, and dude plays knight b5. So what? It's just a pawn move. It's just a knight. What is he doing? Nothing. So the moves at your disposal, let's say that castle's short is the most natural move. We do have to contend with white playing e4. And in fact, white should have considered e4 after a6. And then we're going to probably play e5. Now, if we decide that we don't like e4, we might play knight e4 ourselves. Now, in this position, you might say, buddy, yo, Kraai, you just told me about not moving the developed pieces twice. Okay, so let me just share that in this situation, white really needs to do a pawn move to really satisfactorily develop the bishop. So by playing knight e4, we're really trying to say we're preventing the e4 move from happening. Okay? Now, that said, I do believe that castle's e4, e5 is also an interesting position for black, right? Okay, so I want to go ahead and say it. I despise this move you out. And I really want to stress, like, this part of the game, learning not just to follow developmental principles. It is not hard to learn, but you really have to ingrain it, right? And we see this game after game at all of these levels. And I see a much higher rated players too, just giving away time. Okay. Charlie Silva says, I have heard you say this 2 times a week for almost 3 years. Okay. b4. Now, you say, I thought these moves weakened his queenside. More importantly, much more importantly, it's giving you time, right? It's giving you time. And dude gives a nice, let's see this analysis. And correct, this is a fascinating position. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, right? And that's what white should have done. Very good. So, b4, knight e4. So I went for a knight trade, giving my white bishop good control of the board. Okay, so I want to say about this, right, that, again, that knight e4, if you're going to do it, should be done with the thought that stopping white from playing e4 is a very virtuous thing to do. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, now, this move, we're going to call that move interesting. Even though you could say, Kraai, buddy, I thought you just told us not to be doing that. Well, dude does have an interesting threat with bishop b5, right? So as long as it has a threat, it is an interesting move. In fact, that's the kind of move we might decide to even to give an exclam to, precisely because it does break the principles. And the point is if we get the bishop to b5 bows, it's a pretty picture. It's a pretty picture with the bishop on b5, because then white's king really wants to castle short. Okay, this move makes no sense to me. Good. That move makes 0 sense to me as well. Rook c. I don't know why people don't like the castle these days. I don't know. I don't know why they don't like the castle. Okay, bishop c3. People don't like the castle these days. I don't know. That's the thing. you know. And then they just give up some bounds. What are we doing, bows? What are we doing? Why can't we take the pawn on b4? Take the pawn on b4, bows! Take the pawn on b4, bows! Now he's encouraging him. Now, it's got to be said with this move e5, that in addition to bishop takes b4, that it's really the wrong color of pawns, on the wrong color. So he's blocking the scope of his own bishop, and he's giving our unopposed bishop even more potential. Look, oh, that's nice. Those little green squares, huh? So, we're missing stuff. All right, so now the simple question, can we keep the bishop on the diagonal? I think we can. Oh, killing me, bows, killing me, bows. Why didn't we play bishop d3? Yeah, and this would be the kind of thing to analyze, because this is a very, that's why you did it. You did it for a reason. That's a nice Bishovsky. That's a really nice Bishovsky. Stop him from castling. Okay. Now, it is true that your position is great, because the white bishop is horrendous. This guy's amazing. And really, strategically, the main thing we need to consider here is how can we get this dude working? So I like this move. I approve this message. In general, we want to open it, both because for our bishops and also because the guy is actually down in development still. All right, rook f1. And you correctly say that queen g5, it's at least the first move that should come to mind. Okay. This one, I have sympathy. And maybe the guy should even play knight takes f1 here. Oh, you said king takes f1 was better. Well, I like the knight. Then you can at least go to knight e3. All right, now we're looking good. Now, one thing I want us to think about for a second is that a problem with players, let's say at a higher level, I see it at a higher level a lot of times, is they play with their pretty pieces. And what you're arguably guilty of is when we go back here. Okay, let's start here. We need to really start thinking, how can I make this guy work? And it isn't simple. It isn't simple to figure out, like, how is it that we're going to make this guy work? The obvious thing would just be to play bishop a7 and say, well, bows, I don't know exactly what my long-term plan there is, but it's got to do something. You know, that bishop has got to do something. So one of the things I just want you to see is there's a trend I often see in games like this where we do things with other pieces and then neglect this bishop. So despite the fact that white's all got all his own terrible pieces, we're probably not going to kill the guy if our own bishop's terrible. That's a horrendous move. Okay, so why is it horrendous? Because he's extending the scope of our bishop on d5. What is the correct move? Rook f1. Got to trade off the nasty and then hope to survive while black is figuring out what to do with their dark square bishop. Okay, again, I haven't seen what black did. Whatever it is, I want it to include doing something with Bishovsky. Okay. Rerouting the bishop. I guess we're going to like d8, e7. Okay, actually, I approve of this message. There you go. Bishops are going to be very strong. And that knight, I don't think it can stay there long term. Now here you got several good moves. Let's see what you did. Check to the miserable king. Is that really what we want? Oh, no. Chess crimes, Yoao. Chess crimes. Now, I think most people can appreciate here that that's a crime of a serious nature. Doesn't lose the game, but that's a big crime. That's a monster crime. That's like one of those ones. Wake up in a cold sweat. Wake up in a cold sweat after seeing that thing. Here, I just want to stress you are winning. Might not be immediately apparent to everyone, but you are winning because your queen is more active. This is a beast. This is terrible. One of the worst bishops we've ever seen. And we just need this guy to do something. Right? So I think your default move should definitely be queen h1. And the guy can barely move. Barely move. Okay, so you give some variations. Bishop f3, this is a pure crime. Okay, kind of weird. I agree with the annotation there. Question mark, exclam. Why wouldn't you play queen f3? Check to the miserable king. Okay. Okay. Okay, you're determined, dog. You're determined. However, now with queen e4 or something, dude's going to start talking to our stuff too. Dude decides to go passive. So this passiveness is also something you see at this level. Queen f4, very good. h3, that ain't it, bows. Check to the miserable king. Check. Nice. Now we're gonna start picking it up. Check. Check. Oh yeah, falling like ripe apples, my friend. Like ripe apples. Here we go. Here we go. I think king f7 can't be wrong. Can't be wrong. Queen h8 isn't going to do it. Like, you're going to start taking all their things. All right, so here we go. Just continue. Okay, but time out here. So let's go back and think about it. All right, the first thing we're going to say, by the way, is that you got queen d1. Queen d1 makes your life much simpler. You just take all their stuff. And this is right. So you were obsessed. Let's just note you were obsessed with the b4 pawn for the last 10 moves. So this makes psychological sense that you would play this thing. All right, now you got to deal with this little drama. And now we got some real questions. Check. You got to be winning. But we're scared. I mean, it's legitimate to be scared with the a pawn there. Check. Good move. All right, now we need a good one. He's just going for it, bows. Now, one piece of wisdom is that when you got the queens on the board, or like a queen ending, it's not the number of pawns you're up. It's the violence of whatever passed pawn is on the board. And that a pawn, we got to say, is very violent. So I am not 100%, even though we're up 1,000 pawns, I'm not 100% about the evaluation of this position, especially if white plays queen b7. Let's see what happens. Queen a8, I don't know, no really comprende. Yeah, so queen b7 looks like the one. And you give some analysis. Queen b6 also looks kind of scary, once that pawn starts rolling. Oh, baby, here we go. I don't know. Yeah, this is just, we're in I don't know territory here. Blunder. Queen f8 was best. Yeah, it looks scary. Looks real scary. Looks like it's toast. Well, I guess we're going to say it's not lost because, the dude gets the bishop, gets it back. And you probably shouldn't lose this bad boy here, right? Okay, so exciting stuff is going on with Yoav's game. Now he works him all the way. Yep, this is crispy critters. There you go. All right, we're going to stop there. That was pretty good. Yeah, good Yoav, man. That's pretty Pretty good notes, and you can see a lot of the problems both that Yuao has and that people in this cohort have. Time. Time and bad trades. Oh man, bishop takes f3, Yuao. Don't do it again, boss. But let me just say, you recognize it as a terrible, terrible move. And that is, the step for going forward. That's why going over your games is the way to improve. And having me yell at you, right? Having me yell at you. Send this man to The Hague. Gams Chess, thank you for being here. All right, let's go again. We're going to go back to our scoreboard. And we have Jick 84. Let's see if we can find Jick 84 somewhere in here. Jick 84. Oh, bows. Nope, not finding Jick 84, dude. Well, that is that's a problemo, unless I'm missing something. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do the boomer trick. Nope, not here. So let's go see what happened here. Recent graduates. Where was the Jick? He was somewhere in the middle there. That's Bananas. Wait a second. Bananas graduated last week. There's Jordan. Oh, everything got mixed up, I think. There's Bass. Okay, wait. So that's 2 ahead. Rob. Okay, Jick is the next one. Jick. All right, let's click on Jick. So it says 12 to 13 Jick. What's going on, Jick? So I couldn't find him in the 12 to 13. Something's going on there. I don't know. But Jick did quite a bit of work here. I like it when people do leg day, end game. I like it when they do it. All right. So let's see if we can find a game from Jick here. We got one. This game was played in a simul against the national master. Okay, 11 versus 1. Okay. All right, I like this so far. So, normally the master gets to have white. This dude, this NM got black. Okay. Just play reasonable development moves, right? And I think bishop d2 is fine. Knight f3 feels a little bit more natural to me. I covered that in my course, but it might well transpose to after knight f6, knight f3. Bishop f5, knight f3, good. Now bishop c4, good. Now we transpose to normal stuff. e6, good. And now queen e2 is the right move. Okay, so queen e2 is a clever move because, first of all, if bishop c2, I think we just start wasting him with d5, and there's all these kind of tactics here. And then also we have options of castling long. We have options of just pushing d5 anyway, and of this kind of stuff. So castle's short. I mean, it can't be the worst move, right? It just can't be. But the challenge is going to be to mess with black before they can consolidate their position, right? Okay, so let's see what happens. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, good, good. Cheap trick. Cheap trick, bows. All right, so let's talk about this position a little bit. One thing that we should be sensitive to here is that we have this unopposed bishop and we have a slight lead in development, right? So there's a couple things that we can consider here. I think a move like bishop f4 or c3 makes a lot of sense. And black will try to play against the d pawn at some point, but big deal. Now a3, does it hurt anything? Well, I'm gonna yell at you because of the ye old development problem, right? Now, what should black do? He should defend and develop at the same time, right? And the bishop on b4, that's going to get whacked someday by a knight d5 or something like that. So it's not the most stable piece. Black believes he, though. And that's, I think, a good move for us to see because we want the position to open, right? Okay. Now, I know I yell a lot at people for making unnecessary pawn moves, but I understand where dude is coming from with this a4 move. He wants to play queen b3, get a little pressure. It looks good. Bishop a2. Now, I don't like it. I'd rather put the bishop on f1. And why does dude play it to a2? Because he's still dreaming about some kind of diagonal business, but I don't see it happening, Baus. You know? The other thing I want to say about this position is a lot of people put this knight here thinking that they're doing themselves a favor, but actually, knight's a chump. You know? Knight's a chump's not going anywhere. Okay. There's this queen b3 move. Good. And now the knight's a little bit embarrassed. Okay, expected. Knight e5, solid. Knight g4. Now, one cool thing we could always have done is played h3 here. And in general, we want to put as many pawns as possible on the light squares because this is our unopposed bishop, right? So h3 makes some sense, but I still really believe in your position here. Maybe h3 now even. Knight c4 we can't do because of queen h4. Okay. Okay, fine. No one understands rook b8. Queen c2. Well, I don't know. I guess I wanted you to bring the rook over. Yeah, so that was horrendo, right? Wait a second. I think we just lost the thread here. Okay. That was horrendous. So we needed to play like rook e1. So by the way, like when you show the computer or old time GMs this kind of position, they will be like, well, white's close to winning. For mortals, it's harder to do, you know, because it's like, well, why is it winning with the bishops like this? And it takes a lot of skill, obviously, to show that something like this would be winning. Okay. I'm not really sure what you're doing. So, right, you're trying to, okay, let's give it a chance. Oh, don't like it. I think you could create some good drama with h4, h5. Okay. I don't know. It seems right to me. All right, black gets frisky. Maybe they should, but here our default should be snip snop and then bishop c1, and we still got good, a better minor, and the rooks look reasonable on the e file. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's just snip snop, boss. Snip snop. If he takes with the rook, we'll play bishop c1. You're doing great. And here, let's develop our business here, h4. You know, we're just asking him a couple of questions. It's a friendly undertaking. Okay. Okay, wait. So this all went down. I don't like this because why? It's allowing the rook on b8 to enter your position, which dude is like, okay, I'll come in. And now I think we're probably in a little bit of trouble. That's fancy. That's fancy, Baus. So the problem here is now your business is going to be all your rook is going to be out of play now after rook f5. Now I get it. It wasn't the greatest situation, and rook 5 to e2 didn't look, inspiring. So dude goes back. Okay. Good. F3. So you're just holding it together. And that's a frisky move. I kind of like it. F5. Black is saying, Bows, I'm just going to push you all the way back. Now, black is going to need a good move. Is he going to need a good move? Yeah, he needs a good move here. I think he's got a couple. The knight is very strong. Okay, big moment for black here. And black goes queen b8. After the game, my opponent said that I had a nice position before the queen exchange, which I should not have allowed. However, at this point, it's difficult to see good continuations without the exchange. Yeah, now let me stress something. The problem in your position is you've gone crazy for the attack, and your rook on f3 is now discombobulated, whereas the rook on b2 is a real maestro, right? So, yeah, this is going to be a rough life. And when we look at queen h4 and queen g5, you know, it's going to be a while until you actually threaten something really significant over there. And you're right, rook b1 looks a little scary. Okay. Now, are you toast here? I have some sympathy for this h4 plan. At least now you're trying to do something, and it's not immediately evident how black kills you. I think king f7 is a good start, though. Let's see if he does it. Okay, good. Frisky. You give that a double question mark. Now, here's some notes I don't understand. Rook e5, knight c3. We can't do that, Bows. Your knight's hanging. So, h5, to my mind, would be like the natural question, right? Now, you're not going to do something right away. You're not threatening anything, but you do want to try to open up the position for the bishop long term. And then the obvious question is, well, what about a move like rook b3 or rook over here? Maybe even this weird move, right? All those moves will be continuations for black to think about. Now, if you're going to play c4, the intention has to be, well, Bows, I need to open up things really, really bad. But the problem is, right, you're not really threatening anything, and dude can start not only winning your pawns, but like knight b6 starts talking to all these weak squares. Okay. This might be fine too. I don't understand what the threat was, though. We could have just played knight b6. Now, let me stress that you still got some hope here, son. You still got some hope. Yeah, you still got some hope here. You and bishop c7. Yeah, I understand where you're going with that. You definitely don't give up hope. For example, let's just talk about why. Even if you lost some pawns, as long as the position opened and you had the bishop versus the knight, you would have some prospects. So, for example, let's say we go check to the rook and he takes one of our pawns. I don't know which one yet. And then we cruise over, right? And finally our discombobulated rook is going to do something, right? I don't know. Let's say he takes another pawn just for kicks. Check to the miserable... Oh, not that one. Excuse me. A little too far, Bows. A little too far. Check to the miserable king. And then we got some good juice. We got some good juice, Bows. Now, even here, unfortunately for us, it's not that much juice because of rook b7. But even here, it's not over. I maintain the juice. Let me have this. Keep me on the juice, son. In any case, you see what I mean. It's definitely not without hope. Okay. Oh yeah, now it's looking sad. Yeah. Knight's a beast. Oh man, now he's coming at you. Polgar mates. Okay. Well, Jick, I'm a little confused why I didn't find you on the scoreboard, but that could be a thing I don't know what to say about. Okay, great. Let's do Mr. Barbarian. Mr. Barbarian graduated recently, and I think Mr. Barbarian is just like crushing it. And he might have said something. So let's go see in the recent if he said something over here. All right, where's Mr. Barbarian? Somewhere around here. Okay. Disclaimer: the non-dojo activities were watching the Chess Pro League this past weekend. Can you blame me? No better confidence boost than watching chump GMs hang mate in ones. Sadly, I was unable to purchase the 2 books for the middle game section, so more time was spent on the endgame material this rating band. It does balance out, however, since I spent 0 time on endgame's last rating band. Fortunately, I had learned most of the endgame material from a deep study of Capablanca's chess fundamentals a few months before joining the dojo. Once again, I believe the greatest help was playing and analyze. I like the bodybuilder anecdote for this. You can't get giant muscles by knowing reading about the best workout plan and diet. You actually have to put it into practice. I'm blitzing, the only acceptable blitzing, my way to 1,300, 1,400. See you guys again in a few weeks. Thanks for everything, Mr. Barbarian. So it sounds like Mr. Barbarian, dude. This guy's a power user, Bows. This guy's going for it, man. At this rate, it'll be a 2.5-hour grad show. Yeah, normally, though, there's some chumps who don't have any games. Here we go. Mr. Barbarian, activity. Dang, this guy's bringing it, dude. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Holy catolis, man. Mr. Barbarian is crushing it, dude. And I like the endgame day, man. Leg day. All right, let's see if we got a game. Dang, we got a lot of games, Pause. You're right, Zonderbach. This will be a 2.5-hour grad show. I can't even last that long. I was about to say that's what they said, Kostya, but I held back just for you, okay? Just for you, Pause. All right, let's go at it here. This is Mr. Barbarian versus Redacted. And apparently this is all very well known or something. I don't know. Up to this point in the opening rep, I had learned before I joined the dojo. I plan on changing this in the future where we are recommended to create an opening rep for white. Okay. Now, let me just say, this is all very logical play on your part. And G4 is definitely some fancy pants business, right? It might be good to think or talk a little bit about what you see as happening here, right? So we're going to get an attack on both wings, and then the main problem really for black is this spatial disadvantage. One interesting thing that can potentially loom with this G4 move is when you play G5, it's not just maybe an attack on the king, but it's important to see that we're playing to get some juice with knight D5. And I'm going to guess that that was a key thing that black was considering when playing B4 this early. All right. Now, I'm a little confused. Knight takes C6. The dude can play bishop takes. So why are we taking on C6? Why wouldn't we just plop El Knighto? I'm not sure I get it. So, because knight takes C6, doesn't this deserve a question mark? Pawn takes? Because dude should just play bishop takes. And I like your game, and you could consider both knight E2 and knight D5, but why did we have to take on C6? Right? So, basic point. You're playing for space a little bit in this position, and so, quite a bit. And so, in general, we don't want to trade off pieces, and knight takes C6 frees this important square for black, which black wants to use for his knight and his queen, or her queen. Okay, pop. So mistake. And now you're crushing. We say about a position like this, do you have the pawn and the compensation? This was a great move, the only move you could say. Yeah. Okay. Let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away. You're wasting this fool, right? You're wasting this fool. Now, E5. There is a tactical question about this move, e5. In general, we got to believe in it. But the question would be, how do we feel about bishop g5? I just got to believe that you're crushing the fool there after bishop g5. So I'm not even going to analyze it too deeply. Pop, thank you very much. Pop! Oh, Mr. Barbarian bows. All right. All right, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Now you're just slaying him. So one thing that's interesting about Mr. Barbarian's game here and his progress is dude is clearly pumped on going for it, investing a lot of time, and playing well. This is good, dude. It would help me if I knew what kind of time control this was at. But this is good, man. There you are going to go up soon. Check to the miserable king. Man, that's just brutal. Most people play queen e4 and exchange some stuff. You're like, no, boss, I want to kill you. Now, let me just stress, this is a little bit imprudent. Let's talk about imprudence. You don't need more stuff, boss. You're going to win this. Like, we could, yeah, I just don't want you to blow it. You know, I don't want you to blow it. And it would be easier on all of us if you just play queen e4 here. Okay. You're just killing this fool. Yeah, good move. Man, you're playing good chess, dude. You're just harassing him. All right, a little bit losing control, but obviously you are well on your way here. Okay, Mr. Barbarian, man, I'm pumped on your progress, dude. I am pumped. We did I think last week or the week before we had Mr. Barbarian too. Good notes, good study, and yeah, I want to know more about Mr. Barbarian. Sometimes people are writing stuff in their profile. Let's see if we age 32. Okay. 132 record against Amon Hambleton bot on Chess.com. I'm pumped on the idea of Mr. Barbarian being, in a little room, just working on it, man. Just working on it. Yeah, age 32 is a good age to be doing some chess, man. Especially if you got some time. Okay, that was good, dude. All right, let's go to the next one. Word to you. Let's see if we find word to you on the scoreboard. Let's see here. Word. Oh, crap. Come on. Word to you. Dojo score 0. Let's go see. Now, so this is an example, I believe, of somebody who, well, let's look. Yeah, something I don't entirely understand is going on here. But maybe, they just entered this in, maybe, I don't know. But they just joined the dojo, and so this is a new thing. Let's look at games. No, that's okay. Word to you is getting around. They're going to come in. They just joined the dojo. So that's great. Word to you, welcome. We're certainly going to look at more of your business later. Now, let's go then to Bingham. And we're going to now go to the scoreboard. And this is going to be 1,300, 1,400. Let's see if we can find Bingham. There he is. Dojo score 16. We got a good 85-point jump. This thing is so nice. Every time I come here, I'm like, this is great, man. You got a preferred rating system that you're using. You can see the rough differential between Lee Chess and Chess.com Rapid there. Oh, yeah, endgame day. There we go. Now, what we really need to do, though, is we need to look at 12-13. And so that's pretty good, dude. 27, lots of games and analysis. It's a good pie chart distribution. All right, let's see if we got a game here. All right, we do. Here we go. Pop. This is Bingham's game. Lee Chess, 1,800 plus 20. So pretty fast game, bows. Pretty fast game. Now, let me just see. Go back a second. Let me just see if I find a a slower game than that. Let's just click on one. Okay, yeah, this is a little slower. Let's give this one a chance. So Bingham is black. So just try to play with opening principles. There we go, Baus. Good. Good. Remember, if you have no idea what you're doing, if you play principled moves, those will be the moves with names, with opening names the GMs have played. Good. You're on target here, man. Okay. And E4, I think is a mistake. Okay, your opponent does not punish it. The problem with E4 is it looks correct to Mundo, but knight G5, it's going to be very difficult for you to defend that center pawn. Okay, your opponent doesn't see it. And now bishop B4. You could do a variety of things. I like what you're doing, though. You're just trying to play good principled chess. And this looks like a blunder. Well, it is a blunder. Yeah. Okay. So, castles, exclam. This move took me a long time to see. I couldn't work out how to save the knight without losing the G7 pawn, but castling enables me. That's right. Now we got to say, even if white missed that, he's still messing up. Like Queen E7, I don't think you can take this pawn, Baus, because we'll say check to the miserable king, and then it's either mate or you trade off your business, Baus. Okay, probably. I guess you're gonna have to trade off your business. In any case, your move is better. And now D5 has got to be a good move. Let's do it. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Let's do D5 next. Check to the miserable king. What am I saying? Your moves are great, dude. Your moves are great. All right, Queen E7 is a must. Thank you very much. When they're desperate, my friends, that's when they're most dangerous, is when they're desperate. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, look at this guy. Now, how about knight E4? Let's play knight E4, Baus. Okay, it makes me a little nervous, but you're doing great. Okay, there we go. A little nervous, but you're doing great. That isn't it, Baus. Is that correct, Amundo? That doesn't seem right. Okay. So, your development advantage, okay, is now so large that even if you lost the piece, you wouldn't have lost control of the game. But here, we should be looking to waste this person, right? We should be looking to waste them. So, let's think about it a second. The simple move, is it simple, Kraai? Let's see. Maybe it's not amazingly simple. Let's work it out. So, we go knight G5, and the cruel threat is bishop H3, so AB, check to the miserable king. King G1, no possible because of knight F3. King F2, you're going to win the queen with either knight E4 or some other nasty thing like queen F6, right? So that seems like the easy way to do things. DC4, now we're going to give the piece back, right? Let me say something obvious, Bingham. When you're doing this analysis and you're about to lose a piece, Baus. Baus, that's the moment to put in some variations. This is where tactics are learned. And so, for example, I gave that one variation rather quickly, but, you know, the peace and comfort of your own board sitting at home there, you should, you know, go over that variation, go over it again, check it, double check it. Now, you are strategically winning because the bishop on C1 is so bad. Now, this move, though, scares me a little bit because you're allowing the rook on A1 to activate itself. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it's still really frightening for white. However, if I was white, I'd just be so happy that the rook got to do something. You know? So happy. That wasn't it. Check to the miserable king. All right, now we just need a nice square. Okay. Clever. Also clever. Black wins on time. Unfortunately, my opponent abandoned the game at this point, although I do think black is better with white's king out in the open, the bishop blocked in, and double pawns on B and D fronts. Okay, good, dude. Good. So let me go back and look at Bingham just again for another second. So Bingham has gone up, and yeah, we're gonna see some progress from Bingham. That's looking pretty good. Doing a lot of the puzzles and stuff. Yeah, you know, and that hasn't put in any of the like time. Oh, there's the time. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Great, great. Let me show you guys something fun. If we go scoreboard statistics, we look at average dojo score. Look at that. I mean, I've been putting in the work, boss, because Kostya ain't doing it. It's just me over here, man. Just me. And that's just Pruess right there. Anyways, we look at the, oh yeah, look at that average rating change and stuff. The yellow is inactive, orange is inactive, and the average time spent. Nice. That's pretty good, dude. Average time spent. Total time spent, average time spent. You can see the higher you go up, people know. It takes a little bit more work, work, once you get up here. All right, cool. So that was Bingham. Let's go possibility 0, who's in 14 to 15. We'll see if we can sense the qualitative improvement in the games as we go up the ladder. All right, possibility 0. Where's possibility 0? Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to do my famous check. Nope, no possibility 0. Bows, where'd you go? All right, let's go check it out. So possibility 0 is relatively in the front. There's vision. Okay, go forward, bows. Agazabob. Oh man, I hope I don't lose this guy. Naku is actually for next week. He just graduated. Word to you. Bananas. Oh man, I'm really getting confused. Where's possibility 0? Oh, there's Bingham. Shoot. Possibility 0 somewhere back here. Now one thing that's really confusing that I apologize for is, see, this is all vision. Vision confused everything. I can't, because this is set for like a, okay, wait a second. Let's go 2 more. Agazabob. Possibility 0. There we go. All right, so this, like I said before, if you, when you graduate, the great Jack Stenglein has encouraged you to say something. You don't have to, but you can. So possibility says, good, focus on classical games and analysis really dialed me in to notice things about my game. The structure of the program helped me to spend time on the hard work. We call that the sweat work. Improve. I couldn't really make use of the cohort, not enough people available, so I ended up never doing a single sparring session, post-mortem, or scheduled game with anybody from the dojo. I also wish there were a bit more variety, especially for tactics. Now, my earnest hope is that we get possibility 0. And that's not earnest, that's just my hope. Possibility, the sparring. Now, after we look at, I'm going to look at the meetings and we'll just see if we can see what the sparring situation is just for the 1500 level group. But first, let's check in on possibility 0. Remind me, don't let me forget that, by the way. So that's the new cohort. The last cohort, dude, did 31 points, mostly endgame. I like it. We're probably not going to find any games because there's no games marked here. Well, maybe there's one. All right, let's go look. There we go, possibility 0. Pop. Let's see what we got. Possibilities white. In-game notes. Oh, and these are done with timestamps. So we're going to see, actually, one of the things, it's been fascinating to me now that we have the timestamps is in the lower cohorts we're seeing people just blitzing, pop, 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 And so what I'm hoping for is we're going to see some real thinking going on. This is 60 plus 30, got a lot of time, 60 plus 30. Okay, he's giving notes about what happened later, so let's just get into it. Knight of Sticks is weird. Good. Fine. Fine. Poor, move and develop piece twice. Knight d5. Now that's fancy. You don't need a knockout. You just need to consolidate the position. And the natural move is, hey, develop your pieces, bows. Develop your pieces, bows. Knight g4, one nit. That's not doing nothing. That's not doing nothing. So, knight d5. And now dude plays knight takes e3. And queen d8, bishop f4, maybe, but it's a little complicated after rook c8, right? Now, let me stress, though, that after queen d8, okay? Let's just look at queen d8 for half a second. Black has no threats, so you should still be significantly better here. Because you're up a pawn, and dude doesn't do anything. By the way, there's no taking on the bishop. This was his fancy trick because of knight c7. As we go up the cohorts, we'll see a little bit more fanciness like that. So here, just knight f3, bows. You're a pawn. You're a pawn. And a center pawn. Nimzovich said center pawn's worth more. I have no reason to disbelieve the man. Okay. Okay. Looks correctamundo to me. Now, it would be cool. This can't be it. Now, here's LPDO. LPDO. I got to Google it, my friends. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. LPDO. What does that mean? Italian perfumes. It's an Italian perfume. Yeah, perfect date night perfume. LPDO. I don't know, man. LPDO. Loose pieces drop off. It's a classical fragrance, dude, out of Italy. LPDO. Now let me just ask, is dude toast anyway? What is he supposed to do here? I mean, it looks to me like you're killing this guy. Yeah, you won some stuff. Okay, but that's definitely not it. And now it is very unsatisfying, by the way, that we're not allowed to castle and take the knight at the same time. Feels like we should be allowed to do it, especially against a chump face like we're dealing with today. But here we just take it. The dude should be resigning, but just can't face it yet. Yeah, check. Might as well check. Easy chess. Okay, dude finally resigns. I got lucky that my opponent went for the easy line. I was able to notice the move because I was paying attention to what got undefended. Now, let me just say something. This would apply to both players. You guys aren't thinking bows. Look at that. Look at that. Now, imagine we get this hectic situation here. And it's this is our position. Bows. And your opponent plays knight g4. Is this guy thinking at all? No. No, not at all. Now, again, it's a psychological thing where black is just, he's, hasn't had his breakfast cereal. I don't know. What are you saying, Kraai? I'm trying to say that the guy's distracted in the online world and doesn't have the capability of sitting on his hands and thinking about what's going on. And you, in turn, look at this, bows. You spent 6 minutes. Good. Good, man. But it's definitely not an equal position. You're up a pawn. So, yeah. And if now let's just talk about it. If the guy were to have compensation, it would be because they had some kind of lead in development. They do not. As far as I can tell, your development's just fine. Right? Okay. So, this is time well spent. We can argue about knight d5 versus knight f3, but still it's time well spent. And you should also say what else it was you were considering, at this point instead of knight d5. Okay, but otherwise, that was good, man. That was good. Now, here's a question for possibility 0. When I go to meetings, right, am I going to find some meetings for possibility? No, not meetings, jerk face. You're supposed to go to calendar. Now, I have a slightly special view because I'm an admin, okay? But I want to just take away all cohorts just for a second. And we're just going to look 1300, 1400. Okay. So it's kind of true, but we're going to do the surrounding cohorts too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So there it is. There's quite a bit for possibility 0 to do. Now, do I want it to be even more for possibility 0? Absolutely. But this is all available. Let's just click on one of these. So this is a dude wanting to play a classical game in one of those cohorts. Okay, let's look at another one. This is this dude's here for anything. This dude's ready to go, right? Yeah. My preference would be to play a classical game in 60-30. There you go. Oh, dude, this is really good, man. This is really good. I like this, man. He wants to play a classical game too. All right, let's just click somebody else. Benwick, endgame sparring. 14-15, position number 5. Bows. Bows. Here we go. Here we go. This is the real deal. It's the real deal. So possibility 0, I just want to say, in Dojo 1.0, what you're saying, the critique, absolutely fair. But this, dude, at least now, at least this week, it's looking really good. The green stuff, by the way, is just like us doing our things like this show. It's the Graduate Show Part 2, as was yesterday. And I don't know how David and Kostya managed to convince themselves to cover that thing. That's a different story. Anyways, we got Dojo Talks. We're talking about AI and chess on Friday. Okay, Kraai. You know, somebody said this show's going to take forever. You better figure it out, boss, because here we go. CBGGH. Let's go look. And CBGGH is also 1500. Let's go look. CBGGH. Oh, so this guy's crushing. 105 points already. Already, bows. Ooh, this guy's a power user. 195-point gain. Ooh, and a tactics day. Let's see, click it. Ooh, buddy. Oh, I'm loving me. I'm in love. I got I got a bro love affair here with CBGGH. Dang. Non-dojo though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. In any case, the more important question is, what did they do? Oh, man, look at that. That's some real work, bows. That's some real work. Nice. I'm liking this, dude. This is the real deal. Okay, let's find a game. Against Phigius. Now, Phigius is a hero of the dojo. Phigius helped us develop the Google Doc, which was the first scoreboard. And so we're eternally grateful for Phigius for that. Let's see how CBGGH... Oh, he took down Phigius. That's no mean task. So this, it looks like a 90 plus 30. We'll see how they use their time. A weird move. Actually, I hope I haven't looked at this game already, because there was a Phigius game I distinctly remember looking at where A6 was played. So wait a second. Let me just make sure it wasn't this one. And I yelled at Phigius. I remember distinctly yelling at Phigius because it was like, that's highfalutin, this A6 move. And I was like, Phigius, are you sure you understand what the ideas of this move are? Let me just go forward just a little bit, just to see if I recognize this. I feel like I recognize this. Time out, we're going back. I already yelled at Phigius for that one. I already yelled at Phigius. So CBGGH is white in this one. I played this opening before as white in the same opening. Previously, when I went into Leningrad, I decided to go for the more classical approach. Okay. Already a bit questionable. While black is by no means lost, opening principles have been broken. Good. Okay. Queen C2. Yeah. You're doing great. And yeah, to put it into perspective, one variation here that's mildly similar is queen c2, castles, a3, pop, pop. And black can do 1,000 different things here, but knight e4 is one of them. And here you see that this is a much improved version for black than what we're going to get in the game, or could have gotten in the game. So, white's up time. And now the bishop, questionable on a5. Do I like this? I see that my dark square bishop can temporarily prevent castling for black if I play bishop a3. I normally would have played knight f3, bishop d3, but I thought bishop a3 was interesting. So the issue with bishop a3 is if black plays d6, does the bishop have scope? My intuition is no, right? So I think knight f3, bishop d3 is better. You, by the way, have a great and simple claim here that you're just crushing the fool on the king side because this bishop is out of play. So if you just go pop and pop, it's unclear how dude's ever going to move. Okay, now I think you could play bishop d3 with confidence that you're not worried about knight f3. That's a stinker. That's a stinker. Black is unwilling to play d6, basically. Thank you. All right, and so this is their attempt to deal with their problems without playing d6. Okay. I have some misgivings about it, but let's do it. Really bows. Really bows. Yeah, I think castles or d6 have to be played. By the way, one thing I really like what CB is doing here is, even if I might disagree with some of the evaluations, the fact that he's putting the evaluations is really important because during the game, it's just a skill that needs to be practiced. What do I think is going on in this position and why, right? And sometimes in these positions with c5, you can imagine a pawn sacrifice just to split the white pawns. But here, the real bummer is that now the bishop on e3, I always thought, I was a little suspicious of that bishop. I was like, d6 is going to come and blunt him. Now I don't know how we're ever going to blunt the thing. Good move. Good move. There's no rush to take, right? And the rook definitely belongs in d1. f5, dude's losing his mind. Dude's losing his mind. Yeah. Okay, these are good notes. These are really good notes, dude. Oh, that's a nice move. That's a good move, dude. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Boom. So CB is just playing another level compared to this dude. Absolute another level. That's not going to help you, Bows. Dang. Dang. Bows. Man, killing fools over here. Dang. Take it easy, Bows. Jeez, man, be nice. You know, be a little nice. This was a good game, dude. I played well in this game. Yeah, you did, dude. Yeah, you did. And your annotations are really good, too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to feature this game. And that means I'm going to also come back and put this in the Model Games database. This is a great game, dude. Great annotations. You don't have to play a great game to be put into the Model Games database. You just have to have good annotations. And this is the work that really needs to be done, dude. This is really good annotations. Oh, dude. Yeah. I didn't play hope chess. I stayed principled in my approach, building my lead in time, space, and piece placement until I found tactics that led to a winning endgame. Bows. Yeah. 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 That's the real deal, my friends. All right, we're going to go look. Same cohort. This is going to be Shellback. Oh, man. I got a little Zeitnote myself. Zeitnote means need a time. Running low on the clock. Oh, look at that dude's name. All right, where's Shellback? Who's Shellback? There he is. Pop. Maybe just new to the dojo because we got 0 rating change. Yeah. Okay, so Shellback's new. That allows me to go a little quicker. Okay, now we're going to go Woozer. Woozer's 17 to 18. Be interesting to see what it's like up here. Up in the sky. Up in the sky here. Woozer. No, Woozer ain't here. Well, Bouse. Okay, let's see if I can find Woozer. Gigabyte really killed us up here with Vision and Gigabyte because they had 1,000. Now, Lucas Aminda. That's I Am Lucas. Pop. All right, probably also somebody new because of 0 rating. Yeah. Okay, that makes my job a little easier. And now we're going to check out Jordan. Now, Jordan, I believe, did say something in when he graduated. So let's go see if I can find that. Somewhere around here. There's Woozer. Oh, no, let's wait. Jordan's going to be down here. Pop. There's Naku. He's going to be next week. Word to You. And Jordan is next. Bananas is next. Bananas also, we did last. Uh-oh, Jordan. Jordan Baus. Wait a second. So I have a week to catch it. And I told Jack, I was like, boss, can you do it just for this week? And you can change it. You can go, if you want, you can change it to like past month. But I used, obviously, the past week, and I think I missed Jordan. But we're going to still catch him. We're going to catch him here. We're going to go scoreboard. And we're going to go 2100. There it is. This is some people here, my friends. There's Icy, some real people. Yep. Heavy Tech Bro. That guy's, oh, dude. Oh, man. Now, Heavy Tech Bro is a kid who is really going for it, my friends. Really going for it. Look at that, 125 hours. Nice. Javi Tech Bro, like, he's done some real stuff. He's done the full pole guards. He's done the rook endgame progression. Here we're checking out Jordan. Middle game strategy, tactics. Pop. Talbot Vinnick, 1960. Okay. Now, this was for this cohort. Let's see what they did. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Dude's been doing some real work. That's a great breakdown for the business here. REP match. Nice. Look at that. He did it, dude. He did it. He did the rook endgame progression. Yep. Games and analysis. Yeah. All right, we're going to find a game. And then I got to run. I got to get out of here, my friends. So, pop. All right. Jordan is black. Let's switch it around. This is, it looks like a game 90 plus 30. An interesting waiting move. The idea is that if black plays g6, then c3, d4 is a really annoying plan for white. And if black plays e6, then the setup with c4, b3, bishop b2, knight d4 is more effective. Okay. That's interesting, right? Weird move, indeed. White, though, let's just say, white has some grief in figuring out where to put their pieces. Knight c3 is unsatisfying because it's blocking the bishop. And that can't be it. That can't be it. Now, you're absolutely right that b5 is the most principled way to play. But my opponent was still playing quickly, and I did not feel like I understood the positions that could arise very well. Well, let's just say dude doesn't have any special understanding. I mean, after b5, you're just, you're killing the fool. Oh, don't be so mean, Kraai. So, because here you have a choice. You don't have to play knight e4. The knight on e3 is a chump. You could play a6, queen b6. You can do anything you want here. But knight e4 also looks great. Let's see about this position. I thought this had to be good for black, having traded the b pawn for white's e4 pawn. Remember Nimzovich. But I also did not feel like I quite understood what black should do in this position. And so I chose a simpler continuation. Here black should probably start gaining space in the center and take advantage of the central majority with e5. Well, e5 doesn't feel right to me. Looks weird to weaken the d5 square. Absolutely, I agree. Why are we in a rush to play e5? So, well, there's a variety of moves. The most natural to me looks to be knight f6. There you have to make sure that d3 doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but that could be our general intention. Just foot knight f6. You got the strong central control. The knights are not great. The white knights are not great. Okay, so definitely a weird move. Also a little weird, honestly. That's weird. So your opponent's playing fast, unprincipled moves. And now we need to make a decision. A great rule of thumb, when your opponent changes the pawn structure, that's a good time to reflect on what's going on and what you might want to do. So I think e5, for example, could be interesting. Let's see what you do. Queen d7. Okay. Now, the reason to play e5 would be to say, yo, boss, we now, with this pawn structure, are going to create a wall against this bishop on b2. Right? So that's why e5 is a little bit interesting. And then you could follow it up with like knight h5 and f5 and that kind of thing. Queen d7, I'm a little concerned because maybe white plays e5. I don't know. That'd be my concern. Maybe it's just a chump move, though, e5, knight g4 or something. Still don't know what we're threatening. Okay. This guy, dude, the play is in the center. It's not on the side of the board, Bows. Now you're terrified, too. My opponent was already in time pressure. What? After arriving to the game 30 minutes late. Okay, so the times that I'm seeing here, wait a second. The times somehow are incorrect, Mundo, right? Because this is not showing a time situation. Finally, e5 happens. Right, e8. Yeah, I don't like allowing e5. I don't like your knight going back to e8. Okay, so now white's doing okay. I guess I'd have to say white's a little bit better. I think he should play a5 at some point. Oh, that's horrendous. I think he had less than 5 or 10 minutes at this point for nearly 20 moves, which I'm sure is a big reason he lost this game. You suggest knight d1. I understand. Okay. a5 has to be played. Put the pawn on a5. Next move, put the rook here and just ask back, what do you want, boss? What do you want? Then we'll figure it out. We have to fix the king as well, right? And the knight on... There's prospects for the knight there, too. Like, if we could push to this kind of thing, get a knight g4, depending a little bit on what black does, Okay. c3, horrendous, though. Absolutely correct in what you're saying. It weakens the structure. Good. I don't know where else the knight's going to go, right? He's determined. The man is determined. Great rule of thumb. Pawn weaknesses get worse as they advance up the board. I don't understand g3. Okay, yeah, I like the way you're playing. That's that. As I said, pawn weaknesses get worse as they go up the board. So that wasn't it. e5 looks correct. Finally. That's poor. That's poor. Now you just push past. Now you don't have to worry about c5 anymore. You don't have to worry about b7 anymore. Thank you very much. Horrendous. E4. Maybe a little fast, but I like what you're doing. G5, please. Thank you. H6, please. Thank you. King F6, please. Thank you. Now we got a couple moves here, but King E5 and F4 both speak. They're talking to me. You know, they're talking to me. Choppin' Chess, thanks for being here, man. It wasn't DGT, but the times are from a live broadcast and the opponent was late. Okay. You're doing great in this game. I think this is now strategically winning. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here as white. Okay. I think in the past I would have played f4 here, which wins the c4 pawn by force. But with all the rooks still on the board, I thought the conversion might be a little more complicated. I was very happy with the decision to simply double and force some simplifications before going for the kill, as white is completely helpless here. Absolutely. Yeah. This guy from the beginning, he was playing all these wacky things that didn't have any point. Now here's what you get, boss. That's what you get. Rook H2, boss. Did you do it? Nice. Yeah, well, there's a lot of different things going on here. Knight e4 looks really compelling, threatening knight d2. I think knight e4, boss. That's it, but okay. This has got to be winning too. Oh, there you go, boss. Check. Check. Good move. Good move. Check. Good move. Yeah. Good game, dude. Good game. Yeah. I would have spent a little bit more time. I'm nervous about I got appointments. But this was a great show, man. I'm gonna mark this as a featured game, man. So I'll put this in the cohort games. Yeah, good notes. And one of the things I want to stress here is that Jordan has forced himself to give annotations, say why they did this funky move, rook c8, that b5 has to be, I would just say that's correct, and gives this evaluation. I don't like the move e5, but just the idea of let's put the evaluation out there, right? Because then later dude's going to get a position like this at some point, and then we'll feel more comfortable with some part of the back of his head will be like, oh yeah, Krai's talking to me about center pawns. Those things are important. Let's go. And then this one, it's like, oh, knight's such a chump. And then also just the feeling of no, why are you weakening your structure for no reason? Bows. Yeah. Okay, guys, that was great. I'm out of here. I'm going to allow this. And knight e4 there is a blunder. White is better after knight g4. Okay, I have to admit, my boomer brain is not immediately latching on to which knight e4 we're talking about. Data science guy, I'll do distant opposition another time.